Hi everyone, it's Darlene. Welcome to this week's card. Today I'm using a penny black stamp set called Truly Great. These sentiments are really the focal point of the card, and they have sort of a chalkboard look, I think. So I'm just going to pull this bottom one here, the way to go, congrats, you rock. And then I've pulled one Inktense pencil for each color of the rainbow, and I'll have the exact colors on my blog if you're interested in those. And these are watercolor pencils, by the way. The first thing I'm going to do is ink up my stamp with some Versamark ink, and I'm going to stamp it onto some black cardstock, and then I'm going to sprinkle some white embossing powder on it, and I'm going to heat it to set it. Now, to get the chalkboard look, kind of a dirty chalkboard, I'm taking some Colorbox white pigment ink in a tissue, and I'm just going to dip the tissue just a little bit in the corner there, and then I'm going to swipe it across the card in a couple of different spots. Very random and very lightly, so not too much because you don't want to overdo it. So just have a light touch there of the chalk. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this out. And I decided to go ahead and color my pearls so that they would have some time to dry. I'm using this Copic marker. It's number 110 and it's totally black. And I'm just covering up these pearls. It just takes a minute to color them, and then they really stick with that color if you let it dry for a few minutes. Okay, so now I've got some Strathmore watercolor paper, and it's 3 3/4 by 4 3/4, and I'm just marking the center there. And I'm going to start with my red pencil. I'm going to start in the center, and I'm going to draw a line outward. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to, as you notice, I'm going to lay it down kind of on its side so that I don't get really sharp tip, because I want it to be kind of dull the way I color it. And I'm coloring it from that line I drew to the right. And now I'm going to draw, extend it to the other side of the card. And I'm going to flip it over, and once again I'm going to shade to the right of this line so that all these pieces are being shaded toward the right. I'm just going to add a little bit more color. And the line that I'm making is definitely a defined line. And then the coloring to the right of it is more of like a shading. Alright, and I decided to do green next because I'm trying to divide it into the 6 colors of the rainbow, so kind of half and half here. So I'm just going to speed through this. So I'm going to do green and then draw that line the same as I did with the red, and then shade to the right. Now I'm going to divide these 2 sections into the orange and the yellow. Same thing here, shading to the right each time. And note that you only really have to go just a little bit beyond the line. You don't have to color all the way to the next color. So I'm just going to keep doing this until I do my blue and my purple, so I have all my rainbow colors. And this is just my base color. I'm going to be adding more later, but I just wanted to get kind of a little bit down so to have something to start with. Alright, so here's what I'm doing here. I'm taking my aqua painter, which is just it's a brush, and it's got a tube of water that I squeeze and the water comes out the brush. And I started my brush in the white area, and I move it off into the red until I hit the line that I drew. And once I have a lot of color or water on my brush, I'm going to use a tissue to wipe it off because I want the color to fade as I go toward the next color in the rainbow. Now I kind of decided I wanted a little more red, so I'm just going to pull some off the tip, and this doesn't hurt your pencil at all. And it's really easy to get some good vibrant color by just pulling it directly from the tip. So I'm going to extend that water all the way out to the next color. Alright, so this aqua painter, you just wipe your brush on the tissue or a piece of paper or whatever, and you get to start fresh with a new color. So I started again in the white area, and I moved toward the color, and then I started pulling the color out toward the right. Now I'm going to continue doing this. I'm going to speed it up here in just a second until I go all the way around. And it moves pretty quickly, and in some colors I decided to add a little more, so I pulled from the pencil when I decided that I needed more. but I definitely want to make sure that it's pretty much fading to white by the time I get to the next color. And you don't want to spend too much time putting water on the line that you drew, that initial line, because you want it to be a very crisp line. Sorry, I got off camera just a little bit here. So I'm just going to repeat this process all the way around. And actually, after I went all the way around, I decided I wanted a little bit more color. So I made one more round around the circle, which I'll speed through. But the point is that you can always go back and add more color. And it's really easy to add more color. And these pencils are really vibrant. I just love the way they look. Alright, so I'm not going to show you all the colors all the way around. So here I am finishing the last one, going around that second time. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this A2 curved die by Simon Says Stamp, and I actually pencil marked the center of the die. So I line it up right there. I use some masking tape to hold it in place, and I run it through my Sizzix, and I did that on both sides. And now I'm going to use that same die kind of as a guide, a ruler guide. And I'm going to draw my line using a Copic multiliner pen. That way I get a line right around that curve, and then I'm just going to use a ruler to do the edges. Again, just drawing that line. And I wanted it to be a little bit more bolder. So I took that 110 marker that I used to color my pearls with, and I just colored in from the marked line to the edge. I've got my gorgeous grunge set, which I use all the time whenever I want a splattered look, because it's so much easier than actually splattering. But what I have here is called the Essential Glue Pad. It's actually a water-based glue, and it kind of acts as an ink pad. So you dip it in your ink here, which is really glue, and you're going to stamp it down all over. It's kind of hard to see because once it goes down you can't really see it. But then I'm just going to sprinkle some Dazzling Diamonds, which is just some Stampin' Up! Glitter. You can use any kind of glitter, and it'll stick to where your stamped. So this was a great way to get some kind of random glitter on there. So I'm getting all my gorgeous grunge splattered with glitter. And it's not going to hold as well. Oh, by the way, you can clean it off with a baby wipe. It comes right off because it's water-based. And it's not going to hold as well as if you were to use like heat and stick powder, which is a multi-step process, and I'm too lazy to do something like that. So I thought this was a really cool, quick way to add some glitter using a stamped image. Anyway, I went ahead and drew some more lines on the white card, which is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch folded. And then I'm going to adhere my rainbow panel with some dimensionals, and I'm also going to adhere the chalkboard piece with some dimensionals as well. And then I'm going to go back and grab those Copic colored pearls, which are dry now. And I'm using 5 because it's always good to stay odd. So I'm going to 3 down at the bottom and 2 at the top. And what I do is I kind of lightly place them until I've got them all down and I like where they are. And if I like where they are, then I'll push them down all the way, and they stick. And that's it. I hope you liked it. It's kind of different today. A couple of new techniques. I really like that glue pad. It's kind of cool. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.